One reason why brand new delivery drivers or independent contractors do not want to get started with Uber Eats is because they have one question on their mind. Is tip baiting seriously a thing with Uber Eats? And I sadly have to tell you, yes it is. I can't blame new drivers for not wanting to get started with Uber Eats when you know that your money can be revoked. That is a dirty feeling right there. And for those that do not know what tip baiting is, it's I get an order and I see it. And I accept it because I like the price, the distance, and the time. I go to the restaurant, I get it, I put it in my delivery bag, everything is smooth sailing. Get it to the customers, and it doesn't matter if it's meet at the door or leave at the door, but I drop off the order. I thought everything was fine and dandy, and then at least 2 hours afterwards, I look on the app and I see that my tip is not there. Let me show you a visual example of what happened last week. This order was originally for $11.08 for 5.6 kilometers, so fair distance, and it took 15 minutes. Fair distance, fair time for the fair price, so that's why I took this order. But it was 12:09 p.m. when I dropped it off. So a customer has 1 hour after drop off to revoke the tip, and generally speaking, after that 1 hour, you got another 1 hour before you're gonna see the tip. So by 2:09 is the latest I should have seen the tip, but I didn't. So that's why you see your earnings was $6.17, because the customer never tipped. And because of that, I had to contact support. Now, the thing is, when it comes to tip baiting is, unfortunately speaking, support's not going to tell you why it happened. You might get 100% satisfaction in your survey, but they're not going to tell you why it happens. That's the bait part of it. It's just a bait. You don't know why it's actually happening. And unfortunately speaking, support cannot block the customer just out of the blue. They supposedly say, and I say supposedly because I don't know if I believe it or not, that if you are tip baited and it happens to multiple drivers, they will then block that customer. I don't know if it's happened yet, because at the end of the day, I try to keep track of which areas to avoid because of tip baiting. So because of this, even though the customer's information is blurred out, I can see what street that's on, and I might avoid that street in future references. Now, what I do when I get tip baited is I contact support, but I don't deal with customer service. Uber Eats customer service cannot assist you. They can't give out money. They won't dish out money. So I always start off my conversation with telling them straight up that I just want to let you know, I understand you want to help me, but unfortunately, I already know that you can't. So because of this, I'm not going to waste your time or my time, and I'm going to ask you kindly to transfer me to a supervisor because I got tip baited. Now, the first thing you will hear is either the support person or the supervisor are going to tell you that, well, we have to tell you that tipping is optional. That's okay. Because my comeback on that is absolutely tipping is optional. But me accepting the order is optional too. And I don't accept non-tip orders. So if I see there's a tip on it and I accept it, that was me taking on that option that I knew my customer was tipping. So is it fair afterwards for them to revoke it when everything went smooth sailing? No. So you got to listen to them say that repeatedly every single time you call them for something like this, but you can always defend yourself with that answer. Let them know, I know, I respect that, and that's why I don't take those orders. This order I took, and I expected a tip on it because that's what I took in advance. We have the freedom of independent contractors to do that. Unfortunately, these companies force us to work on tips. I got to work on my tip. Now, what I did is, you can even see by the timestamp, it is 2:31 p.m. So I told you that was 2:09 when I noticed that it wasn't there anymore. I waited my 2 hours. And within 20 minutes, I was on the phone with the manager. And what they explained to me is they'll give $6 for the tip. And they gave me $9 for compensation of my time, because I won't lie, I got mistransferred and hung up on when I asked for the supervisor the first time around, and I used that as my advantage, saying that I'm being mistransferred all the time, I'm wasting my time on hold. I was getting over bronchitis at the same time. So this was not a good feeling for myself. Still am. I'm cracking up now. There we go. And so the manager took my side of things and gave me the $15 adjustment. Now, it's not to always say that you're going to be adjusted with a full top dollar amount, like it was supposed to be a $5 tip and I ended up getting $15 back, but at least there is an option. Out of 1,100 deliveries, or almost 1,100 deliveries, I've probably been tip baited about 12 times. So you can see the percentage ratio. It's not that much, but you will get tip baited. And does this really happen with Uber Eats? Unfortunately, but at least for now, we still have a workaround so that we can at least get our tip back.